So this month, the Emotion Code Divas have been focusing on relationships, and we've been talking about divorce blues, and now we're going to talk about retirement blues. And Helene and I are both certified by Dr. Bradley Nelson. That's his updated book, The Emotion Code, and you can buy that book. You can take a look at all the case studies. You can learn how to do the emotion code yourself. But Helene and I do know that even though we do also our own emotion code, it always works a little bit better when somebody else does it for you, and certainly as a professional. So let's just go ahead and jump right in about why we're talking about retirement blues. Helene and I were just talking a little bit before the show that I've had women who literally are feeling depressed and feeling very lost. They don't feel like they have a purpose. And some of them have actually gone to drinking a fair bit, just kind of because they don't feel very good, but they think that, alcohol is going to change that. But of course, we know that it doesn't. So I have done work with women who are really have the retirement blues. And Helene, I believe you have as well.
I have had women, and it's interesting. They often come in and it's like, oh, I'm feeling a little depressed and lonely. And then we get into it, and yes, they've retired recently, and alcohol is a factor. And a lot of I've got a few people that live in neighborhoods where a lot of retirees live, and so their happy hour starts. Their neighborhoods gather sometimes at 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that means, they're not exercising, they're not out doing other things, and so their evenings are kind of drifting away.
Yeah, kind of blurry. Wow, never thought about that. But yeah. However, I just want to say a little bit about retirement. It used to be that people retired at 65. That was sort of what our generation did before us. But we are a new group of individuals and as entrepreneurs. And I think I've mentioned before to some of you that I'm in my 70s. So for me, I don't think I'll ever retire. I don't work the same 40, 50, 60 hours that I used to do when I was super busy in my business in my 50s and 60s. But I work, I love the emotion code, and I truly, truly believe that if you find something where you feel on purpose doing it, and I also volunteer at the SPCA, love working with the animals. I get to do some animal Reiki there and pet the cats and take dogs for walks and things like that. So if you're doing things that, even if you have retired, that make you happy, where you find joy, then you're not going to have the retirement blues. Life will be fulfilling. So that's what hopefully you're looking for. And with today's viewer, she's not actually retired. So she is feeling a little bit of frustration. And Helena, do you want to just pull out Dr. Brad's book, and we'll just read. He's got a new glossary in the back of this book, which is great. So when we take a look at frustration.
Mm-hmm. So frustration, according to Dr. Brad here in the definitions of the emotions, are feeling exasperated, harassed, or vexed, feeling stuck or unable to progress, blocked from causing a change or achieving an objective or goal. Frustration.
All right. So Elaine, who's been one of our loyal viewers, and we appreciate that very much. Helena, just want to check and see. I think she said she was going to be watching. I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I've gone ahead and done with Elaine. Is I've asked for her permission, as we do. I have it. She's allowed me to be her proxy, which is one of the key areas that we need. And a question I don't think I asked her was what the severity was. So is Elaine watching? Don't see her yet.
So don't see her yet, but sometimes we get a notification a little bit later. So
yeah. I will check severity. So what's going on with Elaine is that she's 66. She just turned 66 in July, so happy belated birthday, Elaine. She's not retired yet, and she thinks that she'd like to retire at 70. However, I really think she'd like to retire now. And she said she'd like to do some volunteer work with animals. She may has been told in a past life that she was an animal healer, or she's very interested in the art, so she might volunteer at a museum. Um, so Elaine does know because when she texted me, she talked about the law of attraction and how she had changed her mindset because she kept saying, "Oh, I can't retire until I can't." Oh, we got a 9? Okay. All right, excellent. So I will check that as well on the severity. So, when you start saying those things to yourself, the law of attraction is very obedient. And Helena, do you just want to give us that little relationship formula about how the law of attraction works? If you believe you're not going to be able to retire or do something, what's going on?
Well, what's going on is that there's words. The words that we use create our thoughts, and our thoughts create a vibe, a mood, or a feeling. And there's only two moods or feelings in the world, positive or negative. And that will then create your results. So if you're unhappy about your results, go back all the way to your words, changing them to what you do want, focusing on everything that you do want, and that will create your thoughts. And your subconscious mind will actually take those thoughts and start to work on your behalf to achieve the results that you do want.
Exactly. So I love that. And the more you can say, well, I'm and I like in law of attraction, I like to use the verbiage in the process of. So I'm in the process of um, being able to retire in a very short time, or something that really works for you, right? So you could create a vision board about what you want to do. Have that, I'm really big on vision boards, or just start thinking about what would it feel like if you were, Elaine, for you, if you were working with animals, or if you were working with the arts and museums and things like that. I know that she does make some jewelry um, as well, and she does sell some of it, so that's good. But she also does have a job. So in that job of merchandising, and she's got products and in the giftware industry that where she works right now. But think about, visualize what would that look like if all of that was gone and the money started coming in from other sources, because the universe is extremely abundant, and if we think that it can only come from this place or this place, we're really narrowing down and almost canceling out where the universe can bring you abundance from wherever. So we don't always know where things are going to come from, or the how of things. So I always say, let the universe figure that out.
Hey, Jana, have you ever found money that you didn't know that you had?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And actually, several times. And, one was unexpected check for $900 from an insurance company. Some was from an inheritance, which I didn't know anything about. And, so be open to where the abundance can come. And remember, it's not just money, right? There's can be resources, information, or whatever that looks like. So Helena, I'm going to go ahead and what I'm going to start doing is what we call muscle testing. And so Helena, how do you do your muscle testing?
My muscle testing looks like this. So I have an agreement with my subconscious mind that when I interlock my fingers and I think the word yes, it just locks like that. And as soon as I say the word no or think of the word no, it just pulls apart.
Exactly. So my subconscious agreement, fingers like that, two fingers over here, that's a yes, that's a no. So what we're doing is I'm going to be asking the questions, and I haven't formed the question yet, but I will, and I can only form it so the answer has to be a yes or a no. And I'm going to look for a trapped emotion. And so this is our chart. And Helena, what am I going to be looking for?
You're going to be looking for trapped emotions that are in either column A or column B. You'll be looking for if they are then in a row, if in an odd row or an even row. And then you'll come down to 5 different emotions, and then you'll ask individually about those emotions. Now, those emotions are what we call unprocessed trapped emotions. They're actually physical balls of energy stuck in our physical body. And as you call out the trapped emotion that's responsible for Elaine's severity of 9, feeling about never being able to retire is that, or not retiring right now, whatever the question is
Yeah.
that emotion will pop out of your physical system into the energetic system, and then you'll use your magnets to
Yeah,
release them. Yeah.
exactly.
Over your governing meridian, here, all the way to the top of your tailbone. That's that energy meridian based on Chinese medicine. You're going to release energy with energy, the magnets.
Exactly. So I've got my magnets and something that's super important for Elaine, for anybody we're working with and ourselves,
Hydration.
hydration. And even if you do have a bit of caffeine, always make sure that you follow it with water. I have very little caffeine before I do any emotion code there because I like to be a pretty clear channel for whatever needs to go on. So Helena, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'll just let you know what emotions I'm releasing. So I'm just going to start with the question, are there any trapped emotions that are, sorry, just a sec, I got ahead of myself. I need to do my proxy. So I'm
Yes, you
just
have to
going to,
become
yeah,
Elaine first.
I'm good. I'm not retiring. All right. Yeah, no, I have a pretty joyful life. Pretty joyful life. All right. Okay. Now I have a connection, so that's good. I'm just going to check on the severity. So the question I'm going to ask, are there any trapped emotions that I can release that are preventing me from thinking that I can retire before the age of 70? And I've got a yes already, and I'm just going to check the severity. Is it a 10? 9? No, it is a 9. Okay, good. We're on that. All right. So let's just see what I can release. So is this trapped emotion that's blocking me from retiring at the age of 70, believing that I can retire at the age of 70? Is it in column A? No, it's B. It's even. It's odd. It's odd. It's 1, 3, it's 5, it's 5, it's 5, and it's 4. Unsupported. Unsupported. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask, does this belong to me? Yes. Can I release it? Yes. I'll go ahead and release that. Do you want to let us know what Dr. Brad says about that?
Yeah, so unsupported, feeling a lack of support, help, or encouragement, feeling not provided for by another, not defended when your help is needed, or feeling that the burden is too heavy to bear alone. One can also feel unsupported by one's own body in cases of illness, weakness, or lack of emotional or mental strength.
Okay, and I just released effort unreceived. So
This is an important one
all right.
to understand. So when one's work, achievement, or endeavors are not accepted or recognized, when one's best effort is not considered good enough, a feeling of unappreciated, not feeling approved of or validated.
What's interesting, I just, while you're reading that, I was looking at some comments here. Chris Coutinho is with us today. She says it's hot and humid where she is. I think she's in Michigan. Anyway, Chris says that she's retired from the corporate world and has been looking for my purpose. Ironically, last week, I think I found my purpose. My goal is to exceed greatly in this more than I ever did in corporate America. I would be interested to know what that is. I also do teach a program called Discover Your Sacred Gifts. And I believe that when people really, if you're on a spiritual journey and you really want to find out what your sacred gifts are, they are different from skills and talents, then yeah, just check it out on my website. But I believe once people know that it leads them in the right direction for fulfillment. All right, Helena, let's see what else I hear. Are there other trapped emotions? Yes. A, no, B, even though it's odd again. It's 1, it's 3, it's 5. It's 3 and it's 4. So self-abuse.
Oh, that sounds...
Yeah, let's read the definition of that one, and I'll just go ahead and remove a few other ones. So.
Yes, so self-abuse, abusing the self emotionally, includes engaging in negative self-talk. Remember what we were saying at the beginning of the show, how your words are creating your thoughts? Yeah. Blaming oneself and so on. It's something like she abused herself by telling herself to stop being such an idiot all the time. it's very important that we become aware of the words that we're using, removing the words don't, not, and no from the vocabulary, and asking yourself, so what do you want? Focusing on what you want.
And when we talk about how to get that, in law of attraction, what I do and work with people, I know Helena does this as well, is we do what's called the clarity through contrast worksheet. So just take a sheet of paper, draw a line down the middle, put everything you don't want in retirement that's leading to that and everything that you do, and all you're going to continue to look at is what you do want.
Mm-hmm.
And once you've got the clarity, because we really cannot move forward until we know what it is we want. That's the beauty of contrast, of knowing what we don't want, is that it's what leads us to what we do want. All right. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you continue, and that worksheet is so wonderful, the clarity through contrast, because what it will actually do is uncover the negative words and thoughts that we have about ourselves, and it brings it to light briefly, allowing us to cross it out and replace it with the positive feeling thoughts that we want instead.
Okay, and I just released the trapped emotion of despair. And now I'm looking at bitterness. Why don't you check that? Bitterness, trapped emotion.
Yeah, bitterness. A harsh, disagreeable, or cynical attitude, feeling angry or resentful because of hurtful or unfair experiences.
All right. And Elaine, yeah, you can just let us know if any of that is resonating with you, and I'm just going to keep going here then.
That despair, a complete loss of hope, feeling miserable or unable to be helped or comforted.
Yeah, so
what I love about this work that we're doing, not only are we releasing these trapped emotions, but when we name the emotions with our clients and they hear us, it allows them to bring forth perhaps some memories or some feelings and release even those memories, and we help them look forward to creating the life that they do want.
Okay, and I just shifted over into, are there any hidden trapped emotions and that are preventing me from believing that I can retire before 70? And what came up was vulnerability. The trapped emotion of feeling vulnerable.
Yeah, feeling susceptible to harm, either emotionally or physically, feeling unsafe or unstable.
Okay. All right. Can I release this? Belong to me. Yeah. So none of these are inherited emotions, Elaine. They're all yours. And yeah, what I always tell people is that, Dr. Brad did this list, from thousands and hundreds. So this is what the human race goes through. They're sorry to say, they're not exclusive to you, right? So sometimes people feel, I know, sometimes a bit, oh my goodness, so many. But he says we have hundreds of blocked emotions, trapped emotions in our body. And, when Helene and I have a prayer, I always say my prayer before I do my work. But something that I always say is each of these energies is released, reset, rebalanced, and realigned. We thank you for immediately installing and activating the positive attribute of each negative emotion, released along with the installation of divine love, joy, and healing. And how the processing will work for you is entirely up to you, your subconscious, and your conscious mind. So, Helena, what do you usually advise people when they're processing? Like, these are some pretty heavy emotions. Sometimes they're not, but I'm getting a sense that these are quite strong in my body. As I'm tapping into Elaine's subconscious here, that these are very significant. These are not any emotions to just go, oh, doesn't matter. It does matter. Matters a lot.
Yeah. So I like to advise my clients that they take some time for themselves on the day that we are working together, and perhaps go out into nature, walk in the forest, a garden. My personal preference is to go to a beach or go to water, go to a lake. And water just seems to, even a pond, it seems to ground and bring tranquility.
Yeah.
But each person will have a different thing, but please spend some time in nature today,
Yeah.
Elaine.
Good. And always honor how you feel. Sometimes I was working with someone yesterday and she pretty much cried through the whole session. But it was good because she was releasing tears and she emailed me after and she said she was just so grateful for all the releasing that she felt. So, however you process, just allow it and know that it's right for you. And if nothing seems to be happening, that's fine. The universe works in mysterious ways and there's no one way that you have to process or time frame as well. So I'm just going to check on a psychic resonance or vibrational resonance. So just want to explain what that is, Helena, and I'm just going to see if she's got one there.
Sure. So a psychic resonance or a vibrational resonance is you'll find an emotion that kind of just vibrates through your entire life in all aspects of your life. It's just this feeling that you have basically about your entire life.
Hmm. Okay, well, as I say, we don't know what emotions will come up, and we just try and be the clearest channel that we can. But Elaine, what came up for you was humiliation. So the point of us asking what that is and what's been resonating in your life is so that we can clear it and it does no longer belong to you or in your body. So hopefully wherever you felt that and that can be something that happened at a very early age that you've just buried. Helena, do you just want to read what Dr. Brad says there?
Yeah, about humiliation, a painful loss of pride, dignity, or self-respect,
Yeah.
feeling mortified, embarrassed.
Yeah, and it is an emotion that does come up fairly often. I know for the clients that I work with are mainly women going through relationships, either breakups or divorce or just wanting to get rid of some negative feelings that they had, that where this heart wall is coming up and they can't move forward. And also Helena and I both know that when we're dealing with people with weight loss issues, always goes back to relationships with yourself. Often for me, with the women I'm working with, it's been consistent with relationships with their mother, and definitely some inherited, but a lot with mother. That seems to be a recurring theme right now with the women that I'm attracting anyway.
It's interesting, the work I do with people that have bulimia, it often stems to, not often, 99.9% of the time it goes back to the relationship with the mother.
Yeah.
And that's not to blame the mother, it's just whatever happened, however it was between the mother and the daughter and the family dynamics perhaps, but we're able to clear this information from our system gently, easily, effectively, and quickly.
Yeah. And so please be aware that we're not saying that if your mother and your child is, has an eating disorder or bulimia, anorexia, whatever, it is not your fault. That child has their own individual journey. They have their own soul contracts that they've made. They are responsible for what's going on in their body. And, the sooner that a person that is going through that can be treated or someone work on them, the sooner that it can be helped. And also what I found is there is often sexual abuse attached to that at an early age with eating disorders as well. And yeah, go ahead.
Interesting. There's since you know that I'm a hypnotherapist. I read a case study from another hypnotherapist, and she was working with a bulimic person, and so they were throwing up their food. Yeah. And it turned out in the hypnosis session that the lady went back in time, back to another lifetime, where she experienced some trauma, but it was she actually experienced her own death when she was eating food.
Oh, wow.
And so somehow it got linked to the trauma of when she was eating the food, the circumstance and the death. It all kind of got mixed up. and brought forward into this life. She just couldn't actually tolerate eating food. She just needed to throw up. Once they cleared it in that past life experience, she came forward and she was fine.
Wow.
So that's that. Remember, we were talking about either the vibrational resonance and or inherited emotions.
Yeah. Wow, that's very, very powerful. Yeah. So, the sooner you can get help with things, whether it doesn't matter what the healing modality is, emotion code, I do some Reiki, I use a lot of law of attraction too when I'm talking with people. And Helena, I know that you use your hypnosis all the time for, why don't you tell the audience, we're just going to wrap the show up, but what's areas of expertise and specialty that you like to work in?
Yes, so within my hypnosis practice, I love to help men and women release excess weight, also overcome fears and phobias, anxiety, as well as help them stop smoking. I have a passion to help people stop smoking, and you can find out more about that at thestopsmokinglady.com.
Great. Thanks so much. And your YouTube channel is?
Is Flourish Hypnosis.
Great. Perfect. Thanks. All right. This is our show for today. Next week, we are working with a viewer that working on the topic again of relationships, kind of feeling lost in your relationship and not really belonging and not really making it as joyful and as loving as you would like. So I'm going to be releasing, or Helena actually will be doing it next week, releasing some emotions from a viewer. So please share the video. We love helping women around the world, women and men around the world, just get rid of these trapped emotions so that they can live a more abundant, happier, and fuller life. You can find me at danasmithers.com, emotion-code. My YouTube channel is Empowered Women in Business. There's lots of different playlists there. And I also particularly like working with animals. Oh, I met one of the animals I had worked on this past weekend. I'd never met the animal. I did it through the computer and proxy, and the dog's name was Magic. And so I got to meet him, and the first thing he did is he kissed me right on the lips.
I love it.
Yeah, oh, so adorable. Yeah. Anyway, that was nice, very nice for me. All right, that's our show for now. So thanks so much for watching. Please share and come on back for next week. That's the Emotion Code Divas saying bye for now.